right, guys, we'll get you guys started. Coming at you with episode number 5 of Lightning in a Bottle. We are excited to be back on with you all. I'm excited to fill you back in with a little bit more news of the week. A couple things we're going to dig into. We'll have some new exciting offerings that we'll mention across this podcast episode. Talk about gym life of the week and how things are continuing to move in the right direction. Talk about how I'm way better looking than him again a little bit. And then just kick around some random questions and random thoughts as we always have. So again, thanks for tuning in. We'll go ahead and dig into what's going on in gym life right now with my lovely assistant here, Justin Wade.
I just wanted to talk about the workouts from the week. And if y'all have a favorite one, list below. We're going to list our favorites right now. So my favorite was probably Monday, the 2 10-minute AMRAPs of wall balls and the very sore sit-ups and box jumps and kettlebell swings. So that's probably my favorite. Classic CrossFit. It's like Galen Glassman wrote that workout for us.
Galen Glassman.
It was great.
But, we do share the same initials. I don't know about his middle name, but we're both GG.
If it's Marcus, it was meant to be.
I will say, I think, though, from the outside looking in, that you fit the physique build a little bit better. You might win that.
Yeah, go ahead and pick on people with polio, Karen. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're insensitive.
I don't know what's happening.
Mine, I don't know. Let's highlight what they were. So Monday was the 2 10-minute AMRAPs, right?
2 10-minute AMRAP.
Tuesday, refresh my mind here.
Deadlifts and running.
Yep.
Right. 5 sets of 5 heavy deadlifts and 400 meter to 600 meter runs. Wednesday was 2-round crusher. That's 7 and 7. We did a building on the minute ladder of 3 snatches, 3 burpees, 5 and 5, 7 and 7. Rest, repeat that. And we also did the same thing with double unders and burpees. That was a fun workout as well. I really like that one. The last set of snatches was horrific, but the other stuff was great. And then Thursday was, we did that yesterday.
Strength day. So we did strict and then kipping pull-ups into bench press. And then today, a good little Olympic cycle and some overhead forward. Mine would be a tear between Monday or Wednesday. I like both of those. Monday, nice long time domains, fairly sustainable movements, gymnastics, so it's right up my alley. I like that. Probably Monday if I had to choose as well, but Wednesday is definitely a close second. And then today came in right there with it too. I like 3 good days this week for sure. Yeah.
Do you guys happen to have a Wild Bill loose back there in the back?
Y'all hear it?
Don't worry about it.
Y'all hear his bar hitting?
That's 700. That's what it sounds like when it hits the ground.
Well, my phone's shaking. It's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You see the ripples in the water? Yeah. We can see the ripples in the phone from him deadlifting.
I'll try to turn the microphone a little bit further away, see if that'll help.
It's not bad. I liked all week, really. Yesterday was a classic bro day. I left feeling larger than life. Today was fun because I like the skill and panache of cleans. Although I'll say instead of kilograms feeling like 2.2 pounds, every kilogram felt like 2.2 more kilograms than normal. I liked Monday. It was hard. It was a grinder. I liked running and deadlift. So I'm Switzerland. I'm very neutral, but I liked it all this week, honestly.
You mean I'm going to follow that up. All right, I'm going in.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah, let's do it. So Monday, I did not like Monday personally because I feel like there was nowhere to go. Like you could not escape. You had to keep moving. So I liked it as far as intensity goes. I didn't like it as far as mentally. But Tuesday, I was happy with my running. I thought my running went really well, and I didn't think it would. So I was good with that, even though I'm pretty sure my last deadlift just tore out of my right hand. There's nothing I could do. So Wednesday, was that the snatches and double unders and burpees, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the toughest day for me, I would say, because the minute of 7 and 7, god-awful for me. But I think my favorite one will be today. I think it'll be today.
The V-ups, however, least favorite of the week.
Very
I've never not been able to summon my hips to break off of the floor with more effort. It took so much effort. So whatever I needed to summon wasn't there.
I mean, arguably yesterday was the best day by far.
Yeah, sure.
Brodak for sure. It was good. Well, that was a beautiful example of kind of the themes and the ideas that we like to chase down of constantly varying movements. I mean, we pretty well covered every domain this week that we could, and hopefully a nice blend that found its way into some good sore spots, but also took care of you guys as members. So good week. Yeah, we've heard some good feedback from a good week, and today is a beautiful little finisher too.
Yeah, everybody's loved it. Everybody's had a great time. And then running into Murph, I think it may have perked some hopes up from the pull-up perspective. Those first 2 weeks back, the pull-ups were like, oh my gosh. Then after yesterday, it was just like, all right, these feel a little bit better than it did the first couple of weeks being back. So looking forward to Monday and doing our modified Murph and having a good time with that, sweating, enjoying the family of 10Xers out here.
Yeah, and with that being said too, guys, I'm not sure if when this gets dropped, when do we aim to drop this one probably?
Depends if I go out of town. Probably Monday or Tuesday. If we don't go to town, I'll have it out Sunday.
Gotcha. So if it's beforehand, make sure if you haven't already, sign up for a slot. We have, I think, a few slots left at 8 in Bristol and then 9 there in Morristown, right? Zero. They're maxed out in Motown.
We're over plus about 4 or 5 already.
Yeah, we may do a coaches workout at 10, at least B-Bar and I afterwards, and be like, if you want to work out with us, we're not going to coach you, but you can do it with us. And this may get cut out of the video too. So. But also, I may be coming down to see G this week, and I'm going to call Panther Creek since they have any campsites left open. We may bring the van down and cuddle a little bit.
Okay, cuddle.
We're really close to Panther Creek now where that duplex is, so we
Oh,
could literally be neighbors.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So how has things have things continued to progress even more so? It looks like, I guess, from some of the stuff you've shared with us, G and Steve, that you've had some even bigger afternoon classes. So momentum just continues to tick in the right direction, it seems like, for you guys.
Yeah, somebody was telling me that 5:30 yesterday had some people in it that were missing that have not been around. So that was the class I was mostly not worried about, but, I was wondering where the people were. But I was told that they had started coming back. So that, in my opinion, that put us back to not only full capacity, but kind of killing it on the plus side, I think. But 6:30 might be the only lagging class we have as far as attendance goes.
Which has been the case
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look at your watch.
I think it's probably the same here. Would you suggest?
Yeah.
A couple of the evening classes that were a little bit kind of distributed through the morning classes were now picked back up. We had some big afternoons, a big 8:15 today. So yeah, I think if anything, continuing just to trend in the right direction. Some more new growth this week through 10 Fit and through
Brad Adams, geez Louise.
Yeah, hat tip to Brad. If you're
4
watching
people this week.
Yeah.
So he's killing it.
Nice.
So people taking advantage of the 100 for 100 and then the kind of 3 week that blossomed out of the blue that turned into this week. So good week nonetheless. So continuing to move it right in the right direction. It's awesome. It's good to be.
Yeah, we've had probably a couple max capacity classes where it's just like, all right, somebody else shows up, you're going to have to work out in another room. So it's been a toughie. Yesterday it happened with 10 Fit. Then the other day I had a 4:30. I think it had 15, so we could get one more in here. So we've had little squares blocked off and sanitizing stations. It was close, but it's working out. And like I said, we're growing. I'm happy with it.
Speaking of growing, I know I've alluded to this before. During quarantine, I found myself growing in areas of my body that I didn't anticipate or want to grow in. This is mostly my what I'm referencing.
Just go to
some of us,
got the screen.
myself included, need to sharpen up on nutrition. We have something up our sleeve, Jay, you've kind of been tinkering around with a little bit. You want to introduce that idea? Is it a good time to introduce that idea?
Yeah, so usually every year around May-ish, we start a nutritional challenge just to kind of get everyone their, God, I hate to use just their beach body, but we do kind of a diet every year. We do personalized macros and do that for them to individualize at a discounted price from what we would normally do throughout the year. So this year we're switching gears, doing something completely different than last year, but we're going to start it hopefully on June 1st. I'm being a guinea pig for this week and probably next week until we get it started. I'm down, I don't know, 4 or 5 pounds in 4 days, but that's a lot of probably water weight, but we'll see how it goes next week. So it's going to be a little bit lower carb with a gaming aspect to it to kind of, hey, suffer through these 6 days. Then you're going to have this one time where you can have some fun and replenish those glycogen stores. So it's going to be very interesting, and we'll release some more details. Anything you want to add, G?
No. So you think it'll last probably, we're thinking about the whole month of June. It'll be a 10X nutrition. So it'll be the same sort of theme, except it won't be the same macros as last year. We're edging towards lower carb, sort of ketogenic angling with some carb refeeding and refueling, but it'll all be catered to Steve's biometrics or Taryn's biometrics or my biometrics and et cetera, right? Is that the way I'm understanding it?
Yeah. So we'll have just a questionnaire. Hey, check these boxes if you fall into one of these, and we'll tailor the macros and lifestyle to fit you better as an individual. We do group classes, but that being said, individual programming is usually the best for everyone, but you don't get the communal aspect. So we're going to do this as a group, trying to blend both that through a nutrition standpoint. And yeah, it lasts about a month. It'll be fun. It'll be challenging. And just hopefully give you another tool to add to your arsenal as far as the nutrition and diet game.
And from the programming side of things, programming will complement compositional improvement. Now, Steve he's like, I feel like Lady, or I feel like he's the male version of Lady, and I'm the tramp. Like, he looks really nice. He's the after, I'm the before. The training, back to where I started, the training will complement repartitioning and sculpting and all that stuff. Like, we all cringe at the idea, but it will be aerobic, it'll be hypertrophy, it will be stuff that's sustainable and repeatable so that we can bolster and complement the nutritional efforts that we're making inside of the gym. So we'd like to have a big, wide buy-in, lots of people competing. Like Justin said, we're going to gamify it a little bit and hopefully yield the best results for everybody who is involved.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, sign up.
Yeah, sign up. It'll give you a chance to be educated as well, just for the fact that you're going to have to learn how to count some calories. You're going to have to learn how to do your macros, and we'll have a little workshop hopefully on that before that starts, or at least a video come out to be like, hey, this is how you weigh and measure. This is what you'll need, and that'll be it. What were you saying, G?
The cost is, what we're thinking is $75, right? That's the buy-in. It's like Justin said, a general. What do you charge for personal nutrition design?
$150 a month.
Yeah, so much less than that, half of that, but you receive essentially the same sort of service, and you're doing it, like Justin said, in this communal aspect where we're all working together, hopefully rising the tide of all ships. We've used that analogy already before, but we'll all improve. That's the idea. I don't know if we'll have a winner this year. Will we have a winner? That's something we need to talk through.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Be determined.
Something as well, if you know of any friends that are looking for a good opportunity to get a really quality service, not only from a gym membership standpoint, but also from a nutritional standpoint, and really need some hands-on touch and guidance, that's a good opportunity for a non-member to jump on board too. So like last year, we're going to offer it to the public non-member as well. And that will weave in the nutritional guidelines and the way we arranged it last year. And I'm assuming we'll follow suit as a month worth of training woven into a one price point package that they can purchase, and then see that the gym's for them, all while receiving some really detailed nutritional guidance and individualized programming from a nutritional standpoint. So that's a good chance to jump in if you're really wanting two of the three things we push, which is sleep, movement, and nutrition. We cover two bases right there at one price for a month. So that'll be available as well.
I had a few members that joined last year during that, and they hadn't left since, so it was wonderful. Great group.
Awesome. So that's something to look forward to. That's on the horizon. And as Justin said, that's coming up in June. So we look to kick that off in June. Anything else to add on that front, guys? You good? Covered that base?
No, the only thing I was going to say, like for some people that want to be told what to eat and when to eat and all that, I know we'll have some people like that, which is fine. But I think it's good for you to learn how much you should be eating and when to eat, and then you can put it on autopilot after that. So just before someone comes in and starts saying that, which I'm sure we'll hear, that's what I wanted to hit you with. The more responsibility you can take on quickly and get it out of the way, the easier it'll be. So just a piece of advice. That's it. Everything else has already been covered. So.
Bueno. And to my understanding, the way we're arranging this is it'll be less restrictive from a food group standpoint outside of, as they mentioned, lower in the carbohydrate department. But as far as omitting actual foods, less restrictive from that. We'll be focused on digging into numbers and the macros. So beautiful segue. I have a rapid fire question. Hit me, Steve.
One quick thing I was gonna add real quick. Do you think we should cover why we're picking on the carbohydrate in particular? Like, do you think that's something?
You could do that.
Yeah, like somebody says, well, maybe I enjoy higher carbs or whatever. But why are we picking on the carb to cut it down lower? You guys can field that question, but I just thought somebody might have that question. So.
Yeah, so Steve's asking why we may do it this way this year compared to last year. This, like I said earlier, I think just giving you more tools for your toolbox. There's 1,000 ways to get to New York. You have to just choose a road and get there. Even though I probably wouldn't go there right now, but
have the best pizza.
You want to go to Ginordo's? Well, that's in Chicago. Never mind. But yes, we're just using more tools, and maybe it'll open your door to another way of eating to where you're like, wow, I've never done this before. I feel amazing. Or like me, I've done basically a keto type diet in the past and feel like crap. So if I can actually weigh and measure instead of just eyeballing, like, it's hard to actually realize how much you eat unless you weigh and measure, especially doing keto when fat calories count so much. I've been tracking on MyFitnessPal, and this is the best I've felt on keto since I've done keto in the past. So it's not really keto, but we're going to do more of a variant on that with a surprise at each week. But I think it just gives people a different way of outlook of eating, and hopefully it fits in. If it doesn't, you can be like, hey, that's not for me. I lost some weight, but I don't think I can sustain that. So that's that.
The only thing I would add outside of that 700-pound deadlift clanging banging in the background, what I would add to it would be carbs. Carbs are a fuel source. So most Americans, westernized diets, think of it like they've already filled up their cars and now they're just filling up barrels of carbs, because that's all the westernized diet is a ton of carbohydrates. And if you really were to look at them from a biological standpoint, they are for their fuel only. That's really all they're used for. So the reason I think it's good for us to cut them down is because most of the time we don't need as many carbs as we're eating. And so it's a good way to go about eating just enough to train and maybe do a few other daily activities. But outside of that, you don't need them as much. And so I think it's another good reason to kind of pick on those guys, if you will. So that's what I would add. Something
that Galen always yields to, and I think the whole reason, I don't want to speak for you, Galen, but one of the reasons you do, this Galen guy, one of the reasons you do intermittent fasting and things is we've listened to a lot of people talk about the importance of metabolic flexibility. And if we can find ourselves in a dieting pattern that helps us to lose weight while focusing on the type of macronutrient we take in and giving your body a new fuel source, if we are switching back and forth a little bit into the ketogenic style using ketones instead of glucose, which is carb, then, the more the better. Maybe you have less foggy brain and you have less crashes if your body becomes better at seamlessly transitioning between relying on ketones, which come from fat release, or relying on glucose, which comes from carbohydrate intake. So not only that, but maybe even improving insulin sensitivity for the short period of time, which never hurts.
I think that's the biggest one.
Never hurts.
Yeah. Inflammation.
Yeah, reduction of inflammation, because there's definitely a correlation between high carbohydrate and highly processed, carbohydrate intake and increased levels of chronic inflammation throughout the body. Then if we can kill that many birds, don't kill any birds or bats, but with one stone, then why not? That seems like a pretty cool approach. Might not, as Justin said, it might not be for you, might not be your best sustainable model, maybe, but it's worth tinkering with and playing around with that tool to have it in the kit, as Justin said. So
you'll hear it a lot in the paleo world, the keto world, the low carb world. There's essential amino acids, there's essential fatty acids. There's no such thing as essential carbohydrates. So that's one of those things, like everybody, especially in the vegetarian and vegan world, it's like your body runs on glucose. What doesn't have to run on glucose? And that's what Taryn was alluding to, and I think it'll help. If you're wondering where these sounds are coming from, say hi, Bill.
Hi, man.
There he is. Yeah.
So jacked.
Jack the Tan. Well, not so Jack.
And a lot of you've heard us reference to, and thus the paleo name, and maybe this is beating a dead horse, but maybe for those that don't know this style of eating, maybe not purely paleo because they do introduce some fruits and carbohydrates, but excuse me, generally speaking, it's centered around lower glycemic foods, meaning foods that don't spike your blood sugar, because in those eras, there wasn't a lot of freely available high carbohydrate foods if they were the hunter-gatherer, which is a buzzword we hear so much in the kind of fitness space or world that we spend most of our time. So it kind of reverts back to that for the most part, eating some carbohydrates when they're available, thus, the route we're going for that carb backloading, and then not having them throughout the majority of your days of the week. Once again, learning to seamlessly weave in and out of the use of ketones versus the use of glucose, and also seeing, results from a physique standpoint too. So I'm excited to see how it works. It's really, really cool. Mental clarity probably is going to be up. There might be a little bit of irritability in early stages though, but I think it'll probably serve others well.
Yeah, and there may be a bit of a fog at first. I always use the analogy of like you're walking through dense fog for a few days, and then the fog will raise and things become clear and sharp, and smells are more pungent, and music sounds better. There's just this whole chasm that we cross wandering through the dark before you start to feel really good. So you can expect that no matter what you do when you change your diet, particularly if you're eliminating sugars, glycogen, glucose, and shifting, like say, to a different fuel source in the form of ketones and things of that nature. It's an exciting time. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Yeah. So it'll challenge you in the short term, but adherence, just like with any diet, is going to be key for success. It is 4 weeks, so I feel like you can give it a whirl for 4 weeks at least. Exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm doing it right now. I'm going to do it throughout probably the challenge. Maybe stop a week before you all, since it started 2 weeks before. But excited to see what happens. Something new, something fun, something to bring us a little bit closer together.
Perfect. Taryn, you had a rapid fire.
Yeah, hit us with that rapid.
Oh, it's going to be, so let's say we did excellent, tremendous, a beautiful job throughout the week. Throughout the week of eating on track and staying in the low carb sphere. And it's Sunday and it's our carb backloading day, and you need a day just to cut it loose, as Jay alluded to. Where, Steve, first, we'll put you right in the hot seat. Where would you be going to come off the rails for a big meal from a fast food standpoint? Go.
Oh, jeez.
We're talking going ham.
And we probably won't recommend this during the challenge, okay? Just letting you know that.
Yeah. Talk about contrast. Here's the contrast.
We're going to eat healthy, and then we're going to have hamburgers. Go ahead, Steve.
So, like, you mean like you said a carb refeed, or just a refeed in general, or?
Well, okay. So,
just an act like a cheat meal.
Okay.
Yeah, to not confuse people, again, we're not necessarily recommending you do this, but if you, for whatever reason, came off the rails, where are you going? One-stop shop, fast food restaurant.
It's tough, man. If I'm completely taking the bars rails down, I go pizza. There's no. I don't know if I'm Italian, but I feel like I am sometimes, because
you got a fast food pizza joint in there?
Feels right. Do what?
You got fast food pizza in Morristown?
Little Caesars, baby.
Ready. Steve just.
That's it.
G?
We have Jets? Okay, we got Jets pizza.
It is really good.
Can you pull through there and grab one?
Yes. You can.
Oh, nice.
A slice.
That's dangerous.
They'll give you a slice.
You can buy the slice. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
I feel like
it's like this thick.
I feel like everybody we had on board for the challenge is just now just.
You saying you know from experience or something over there?
Maybe we know about it from experience. Maybe it's a little post-workout snack, you know?
You're not humans. You're not supposed to do stuff like that.
I'm with Steve. I like pizza. If I had to choose fast food, probably I'm thinking Arby's. I don't mean to say the catchphrase.
Or Zaxby's.
Arby's or Chick-fil-A.
They have the meat.
Dude. No.
Give me the meat sweats.
Yeah, them sweaty meat, that Theo Vaughn stuff. Anybody knows that?
Got the meats.
What about you?
I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A for sure, but like on like a childhood nostalgia thing. G mentioned Arby's, like nothing like an ultimate BLT to remind me like of a kid waking up and like having a BLT sandwich. Like that's a hit spot. But I would have to say Chick-fil-A probably. Give me about 3 chicken sandwiches. I'll be good to go.
I guess I'll come at it 3 ways. If we can weave pizza in there, then that probably jumps the list. But I didn't have pizza in mind. Do we have like a drive-through, grab a slice type deal even around here in Bristol?
I think Domino's might do it, actually.
Do they do it?
I mean, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Justin has no clue. So if pizza can get woven in there, pizza. If I lie to myself and say I'm eating good fast food, Chick-fil-A, sure. But if I'm trying to get muddy and really get in there, here lately I've been chasing down this Pal's craving a little bit. And I got introduced.
Yeah.
Here lately, last
I'm
6
hanging on to
days.
that description.
I got introduced to this double Big Pal idea. I've lived here my whole life, had a Pal's right up the road, and never really spent a lot of time driving through that packed out drive-through. But someone introduced me to a double Big Pal with cheese, add bacon. If you're watching this, Abo, we're not friends anymore. And so that's a temptation that lies in front of me quite a bit. So probably Pal's, Muddy, Chick-fil-A if I'm lying to myself, and pizza if I can weave that in somehow.
You're getting down and muddy. That's what I heard. That's the best part of that whole description. Said if I'm getting down and muddy.
I haven't eaten Pal's enough to say I like it or not. I've had one double Big Pal my whole life, and I'm just like, still rather have Chick-fil-A. I don't know.
Dude, you got to be careful. That's our 2 biggest giants right there. Chick-fil-A and Pal's. People will fight you out in the road over those 2, okay?
Might be, bro.
I had that conversation with someone the other day. Like, we've grown up around Pal's, and it obviously doesn't have the national like spotlight like some of these I'm about to mention, but they're kind of like our region's like, what is it?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. Yeah, I was saying Whataburger, but no, not Whataburger. In-N-Out. So it's like our region's In-N-Out, like efficient, consistent, packed to the gills at noon, and we just I don't appreciate it like that because we've always had it.
Yeah,
So.
it's nothing to see 30 cars lined up beside the 4-lane, waiting to get
Yeah.
in. It's so crazy.
I don't know if we mentioned this on the
It spills out
podcast
its word.
or what I was talking about, but I was gotten a pretty good little wreck or a little fender bender on the Parkway the other day at the Pal's. Like, it's backed out in the road. Someone's trying to cut across both lanes of traffic. I'm coming at like 35, easing off a little bit. Here comes this lady out in the middle of the road, locks the brakes down, puts it in reverse, backs back into Pal's. It's freaking chaos, man. It's insane there at noon. And that's
You have to think that Pal's probably needs to have some sort of good insurance because that's true. And they're right next to our 4-lane. And it is backed up, like you said, 20 or 30 cars. It's almost like we need a 3rd lane on that right side.
She's looking at her back. They forgot my cheddar round.
which hat tip to Pal's, they rarely forget things, I feel like.
Good,
So,
man.
yeah.
They're good.
Dude, okay, one thing I found interesting about them, they always score like the highest in cleanliness here, like 99% or 98, whatever. But what I think is funny is you got like 12 people in one room. If it's not clean, that's a problem. If there's 12 people in one room, it should be clean.
And I don't know, I'm sure people who watch this, all 3 of you, probably know that there is a Pal's Business Development School, and they train their employees at every single station so they can plug and play all the time. They have continuing education. They have required reading. I wrote, ironically, a little essay for one of my continuing education pieces on Pal's for fitness industry pursuit. So I was really blown away by their practices. Really high standard.
Yeah. Mark Eubanks
Yeah, I
is
was about to say.
attended, and he's like, bro, top notch. He's like, as gym owners, he's like, it's a fast food restaurant. And he's like, as gym owners, you would learn so much. So it's kudos to Pal's.
I've heard about that, and I looked into the Chick-fil-A franchise, and like for them, they won't let you work outside of there. You have to work on site. So that's interesting too. Like, I think it's good. Obviously, you need to probably work some way in the business you own, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, it's a mandation. Like, and then like McDonald's has some interesting mandates as well. And so, like for them, they have to own the real estate. McDonald's does. That's how they built their whole model. They're my favorite model, probably just because of that. They own the most real estate.
Founder, Ray Kroc, good movie.
Get it, Croc. Was that is that Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
Okay, we went off. I'm sorry. How did we get here?
I said Pal's Business and spiral out of control.
All right, pull it back in, Taryn.
I have a rapid fire. It's really, I know the answer to everyone's, but you can riff on your idea. Coffee or tea? And how long have you drunk it?
I'll go first.
Get it, Steve.
Hot seat Steve.
Okay, yeah. Let me go again. So for me, Tea, this is going to be bad, man. People will either turn this off or they're going to kill me. But sweet tea always tasted like watered down Coke to me, so I never liked it, period. So it has never tasted good to me whatsoever, and I always thought it was weird that people liked it. So, and I didn't even try. I figured if I didn't like sweet tea, I definitely won't like unsweet tea. So I just never even went that route. And so I didn't drink coffee till I was 27, and I've only drank it black. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to put it out there. I know we bragged on Chick-fil-A. Yesterday, they messed up my order twice. Same order twice, okay? And I'm not mad about it, but it's coming off like I'm mad about
Clearly
it.
not mad about it.
I mean, I ordered a hot coffee and an iced coffee, and that iced coffee came out directly with milk. And I said I want it black. And then she's like, okay, I'll go back and get you another one. She comes back. It looks black. I go to drink it. It tastes like a liquid candy bar. Like, I want regular black coffee. And so, sorry, I spun off into this too, but for me,
He's like, I better go work out right now so I can burn this sugar off.
that's it. So black coffee would be my favorite. And then, yeah, like I said, I've only drank it black since I started drinking it. And so the creamer and all that tastes really weird to me. So I'll just say straight black coffee.
I can appreciate them both. It definitely coffee because it's like the routine, and that's something that I crave, that bitterness in the morning. So 100% coffee if I had to choose between the two. But here recently, I can definitely appreciate like hot tea, unsweetened like hot tea, especially if it's a decent quality one. And I like green tea a lot too. I probably started drinking coffee. It's going to be hard to pin it down completely, but consistently.
I had this one job.
Yeah. I definitely was drinking it for that job. But in college, probably pretty consistently in the caf there. So I don't know. I was probably 20 years old or something when I was really consistent with drinking coffee. So
Yeah, I probably coffee for sure. I like tea occasionally. Sometimes Robin's family, they're big tea connoisseurs who pull up in a drawer and they have 40 different types. So sometimes at her house, we'll go over there and have a nice warm cup there in the evening time. But coffee for sure. Started when I was probably 21 when I started working on the railroad, working midnight shifts. Like, how do I stay awake? So it was probably 1 part sugar, 3 parts coffee. So it was a ton of sugar, and that's the only way I could drink it. And then kind of got into the fitness dialing a little bit more and just went into black coffee. Rapid fire question on top of that: cold or hot? Taryn.
Oh, seasonal. That's all seasonal. Like, I can drink first thing in the morning, it's going to be hot, no doubt about it. But if I'm getting a coffee like midday, then that's seasonal. In the summer, I love it cold, just like you, Steve, but not in the winter, really.
You want me to go next?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. Like, when I first started drinking hot coffee, it burned me every time. So like, I automatically, I'm a big. You gotta kind of callous your tongue and your upper lip a little bit. I'm gonna keep it real. Okay.
Steve,
That's
you're the
why
reason McDonald's.
go callous.
Steve,
my
the reason
dad-
McDonald's puts hot on the cup. Like, extremely
Well, that's me.
And Steve's like, oh, coffee.
Yeah, but to be fair, my father, dude, he doesn't have the same mustache that Jay does. But like, as soon as it's made, my dad goes right. Like, there's no waiting. As soon as it comes out, and I always thought it was a superpower. I was like, how does he do that? So I think it's either the mustache or just a strong upper lip.
What about stiff upper lip?
Stiff upper lip. That's right. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna say cold just because I got burnt a few times.
You've heard it here first, guys. Carpenters have leather tongues. Just letting you know.
I didn't answer. I was totally on the anti-coffee train for the first 30 years of my life. We were in Reno for American Open almost 6 years ago, and I held firm that my opinion of coffee was dirty water, always dirty water. It's just dirty water. I love the way it smells. I hate the way it tastes. And for whatever reason, I tried it 100 times. Trista's drank coffee since the crib, I'm pretty sure. And she ordered a pour over from a little cafe there, and we were walking along, in this dreamy place, and she gave me a drink. And for whatever reason, it's like my ears perked up. And for the first time, I didn't recoil at the taste. So you could say it was an acquired taste. It's just acquired 30 years to acquire the taste. But black coffee for me, the hotter the better. I like cold brew. I like pour over if I'm really feeling fancy. I will mix in some protein and coconut milk and kind of have a bulletproof-ish protein-laden coffee, which you guys might try sometime soon, hopefully, and would complement the nutritional challenge, to be honest. We'll talk about that later. But tea's good. I don't have anything against tea. I just prefer like tearing the bitter, sharp tasting coffee. I like to grind my beans, and Jay bought me a pour-over carafe and a kettle. All that stuff's fun. I weigh and measure. I geek out on it pretty hard.
I'm saying I like just like G. I like them all. I think Robin and I, we go into little spurts where I'm drinking cold brew right now. We got this like $60 Cuisinart thing. Did somebody give me that? Did you give me that, G? Yeah, I was going to say somebody. Dude, G bought me a Cuisinart cold brew overnight thing. Fabulous. It's one of those things. If you want to drink coffee fast, get it. But if you want to enjoy it, don't get it because you slam it in about 8 seconds because it tastes so good. But it's amazing. That's what we've been on the past 2 weeks, probably just to save a little bit of time. But like G said, nothing like a beautiful pour over or French press. We got a little camper van, and Robin will make a French press in the middle of the woods, and that's it's pretty nice in the morning as well. So.
Oh, I'm gonna say this, and I think I know the answer. The best coffee you've ever had, where was it?
I just was about to ask that question. I was going to say most memorable cup of coffee or the
Ever, hands down.
Hands down. I think, is this unanimous?
Yes.
Yeah, for me. I mean,
Jay's struggling.
Obviously, I remember that first one in Reno, but as far as like the one that I can still taste and I dream about,
Hands down.
go ahead, Tom.
I got a memory loss. I got part-timers.
How did you pronounce it?
Coquille.
Oh, yeah.
In
Montana.
That's right,
Yeah.
Bozeman. Yeah, dude, that was the best bulletproof coffee you could probably have. So shout out to her. I wish you were watching the podcast. That was incredible. Hopefully her shop's doing good. Does anyone follow her online to see?
I think I'm on maybe Facebook. I like their page.
Hopefully.
They post random stuff about Montana, so I imagine it's
Koki
drinking
Coffee
place.
Company. Was that right? Koki?
Yeah.
A
Koki.
little frog.
Yeah. So Robin has a shirt. I'll insert the picture or link or something to her Facebook page on here if it's still going on. But super sweet. Single mother decided to open up a coffee place, and we're rolling in, getting ready to go on a 600-mile hike or something like that with my short legs. And she's like, I want bulletproof. We're like, yeah. So we sat there and drank, I think, 2 cups apiece
We
that
had
first
two.
time.
Yeah, we had her make 2 each.
So,
And then we went back and grabbed one before we hit the flight on the way out of town.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and the cool thing, it was one of those good stories of a small business that used good practices. I think she sourced back in, what country was she pulling beans from? Do you remember?
Was it Dominican or Puerto Rico or Costa Rica? It was one of those
Yeah,
areas.
I thought Dominican.
Somewhere, yeah, one of those. And
She actually traveled to the farm, right? She
Yeah,
traveled
yeah.
to the farm where her beans were grown and roasted.
She had a relationship of some sorts with the actual farmer. That they use sustainable harvesting techniques, I believe, and stuff. So one of those cool stories that you hear, kind of West Coast style stuff. But
Yeah.
man, and her hospitality was probably didn't hurt the fact that that it stayed in our heads so much. So we could
Hey, by the way,
reach across and touch both walls of that place. It was a
2 things I'll tell you right after this train.
short and long.
And a quick word from our sponsors. So number one, if you happen to be like stumbling around in Montana, like you somehow end up over there, you got to go try it out. That's the first thing I wanted to say. We're talking about, like, I don't know. I was like, we're talking about these people that they may not even ever get to check it out. But if you end up in Montana, you got to go. Like they said, we hit that before we even got on the flight back. It was that important. Okay, we didn't say bye to anybody else but her. Okay? So, second thing, did you guys know that there is like a tea or coffee that's made from like wild cats in South America? Okay, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say it. They basically use
I feed you. You're the wildcat. The coffee berries. He eats them,
and then I discard them on the other side.
and I gather them, clean them,
Yep.
grind them.
Okay.
Like a $40 cup of coffee.
It is super expensive and like a delicacy.
Yeah.
Not that I know.
Something about the fermentation, right? It ferments in the belly of the cat and has some magical coffee brewing. I want to know who first. Who was the first person?
Yeah, that's insane.
2 Chainz has a episode on it, the most expensivest, where he tries it and they have like so many different cups and he's like, "This come from cat doo doo," and like, so funny, man. He's such a good person.
I love that show. But yeah, I just thought before we jumped off the coffee train, I wanted to at least say, hey, this is weird, but this is real.
I could go for a cup of coffee. I've been up since
45.
Cheers to that.
Cold brew.
All right, who has the next rapid fire? Or other. We can wade into an actual topic if you like.
We'll talk about Alicia's.
Yeah,
Let's see.
if you'd like to.
So we had a member in Bristol reach out about, do we have any recommendations for a person who is basically desk bound all day and how to improve their fitness or tightness or anything health related for someone who sits all day? And Alicia, thank you for the question. We'll get right to that. Who wants to start that off?
My hot seat again, I am.
Sure.
Hit it, Steve.
So the question was basically they're sitting at the desk all day and they want to know how they can at least improve posture, be able to move around.
Just not feel like they're in the chair folded up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, start with the obvious. If there's a way to get a standing desk going on, I would look into that immediately. And apparently, there are studies that show if people, and I'm not expecting you to do this, but there's some people that will get a treadmill or a way to walk, and apparently, like that helps cognitive ability. So, if you want to go out there and get a standing desk at a treadmill, go get them. But I would say standing
in the real
desk,
world,
yes, standing desk first. And then I would say to periodically get up from time to time and do a little something. I don't know what it may be. Something probably to loosen up the low back in particular and the shoulders. So dislocates would be the bomb if you could do that. If you don't know what I'm referring to, you basically could take a broom handle. You could take what we use as a PVC dowel, and you could keep the arms locked out and basically go over to the low back, come back across, shrugging up at the top. Maybe do 10 of those, maybe once an hour or something like that. That should be simple. And then maybe some sort of bend and bows for the low back or something like that. Now that might look weird to everybody, but if you don't care, I don't care. So should be good to go. I think that's a good start.
Yeah, stand-up desk would be key. Robin, when she had a desk job, one little hack she did was to get a exercise ball, one of those big bouncy ones, and use that as a seat instead of a seat. That way you can sit a little bit more postured up, knees out, nice neutral stance, because when you're slouched over, it's going to happen. Obviously bad for the spine, but also the hips and hamstrings are going to tighten and shorten a little bit and cause that pelvis to tilt and maybe cause a little bit of lower back pain. That'd be one. And I found the cheat sheet yesterday out of all people, crazy Green Benfield, or being Greenfield. Yeah, I say Green Beanfield.
Green Beanfield.
Got the coffee on my mind. But Ben Greenfield, he's not crazy. He's incredibly smart. He just has some wacky stuff. But he actually made a post about it where I think he put 16 stretches that you could do in a rolling chair that he posted yesterday. And I'll have that in the show notes below, Alicia, so you can click in there and go to his Instagram post and look at those. But it's really interesting. I would also say take frequent breaks, probably every 30 minutes or so. Maybe do some air squats, just something to keep you moving and also give the brain a little bit of relaxation, as Steve was talking about, enhancing cognition, taking those breaks. Tim Ferriss is a huge fan of that, just for continuing long work days. Okay.
Just to build on that, maybe we continue the use of our technology. You see these cool standing desks and things, and the technology that's came out. The treadmills, obviously unique technology, but take advantage of these, use those and set timers, because we can get lost in the weeds of a busy day sometimes and forget to stand up and do your work. Just set that reminder to be up and moving or to do the stretches, because Steve's perfectly on, in my opinion, with the dislocates. How many people as coaches do we struggle to get them to be able to go to an overhead position or any type of, proper upper body posture because they're sitting like this all day, typing on keys or doing something out in front of them. So dislocates would be good, but yeah, nothing revolutionary to build on. Just I do like the timer idea to keep you on some type of systematic approach for your day.
Squat therapy, like we preached that. Was it last year we did in the Outlier Challenge? Or yeah, we did 2 minutes of squat therapy. You can get 2 minutes of squat therapy in. It's going to improve your lumbar and mobility exponentially.
Dude, Jim Pope. Shout out to Jim Pope. That dude did that like every
He
single
did wall facing.
Yeah, wall facing every day, and it improved his overhead squat drastically.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't add too much. Before Jay said Ben Greenfield, I was planning to talk about stretching, but it's like the old country song where Willie got there first. Ben got there first. You can cross your leg, you can posture up. I would say try to find a chair that's as uncomfortable as possible so that you're not prone to being comfortable and slouching. You can even kind of work a hamstring floss with a vertical torso and just hinging forward without moving. You can do a bit of a handcuff stretch while you're sitting there, just opening up. Put your hands behind your head, open up your shoulders. Set a timer. Once upon a time, when I was younger and much stronger, but also dumber, I really wrenched up my back. I was 23 years old. I had a desk job, and I worked on a knee. I literally brought a pillow to work, kneel. So like imagine you're pressing from a half kneel. I had a pillow under my knee, and I would alternate knees that I would work from. That helped me tremendously. So any of that kind of stuff would work. The most important thing is just being aware, like you already mentioned. The fact that you're aware means probably on your way to fixing it anyways. But to open up the hips as much as you can. Couch stretch. Kelly Starrett used to say for every hour you spend sitting, you should spend 2 minutes couch stretching, I think. Is that what it was?
Something like that. And speaking of that, like we left out the big pink elephant in the room. Kelly Starrett has a book called Deskbound. So if you just want to pick that up, phenomenal. Physical therapist, San Francisco, helped gold medal Olympic rowers who, if you've ever seen a rower, they're naturally pinned here rowing, like help them fix their posture, improve their time. And if you can think of a girl keeping a 145 pace for 7 kilometers, that's what you're dealing with.
It's insane. It's insane.
One thing I would add on, this is thinking of biohack Dave Asprey. I'm thinking we have a member in here, Tracy Dickerson. She wears this, what would you call it? It's like a backpack strap.
It's just a postural reminder. It's a tangible thing you feel that pulls your shoulders back into what would be a better shape rather than slouching.
So it kind of holds you in that position, and it's pretty cheap. It's only like 10 or 15
bucks. Like
bucks.
A girdle for your thoracic.
And I mean, they have like sticky things that kind of
crosses over, and you can tighten it in the back with a strap.
Okay, I've seen some where they have like plastic spikes out of all things. So if you pull forward, it's like, oh, okay, I feel that in my back. It doesn't hurt you, obviously, but it's just.
Bryce wore one of those for a while.
Yeah, so that's another little biohack if you want it. I think they're only 10 or 15 bucks. They kind of hold you in position. So
if you see
that was one of my questions. I don't want to interrupt if you're going to build.
No, I was just going to say, if you've seen Taryn and I constantly going from this position to this position, as G was saying, just stay moving so you're not locked into one spot because I'm not comfortable right now at all.
One of my questions I was going to ask you guys, or I am asking, I sent you guys the heads up, and both of you have used the term hack already. What is a life hack that you use that you think other people might benefit from? It could be technology, it could be behavioral, it could be cold shower, it could be whatever. Is there something that you do that average Joe might not know about?
I guess I can start there if you want. We have a amber-colored bulb that's in our headlamp in the bedroom. So basically, it's an orange bulb that you cut on, and it's supposed to mimic dusk. So as the sun starts going down, your body starts creating melatonin to make you sleepier. That's what it's supposed to mimic, and that's what we use at night. And also some sort of screen protector or night thing. If you're going to use your electronic equipment at night, which you probably shouldn't, or your TV, if you can get some sort of blue blocking protector, that would help out a lot. That's about my good one right there.
Yeah, to build on that exact same thing, most of our phones nowadays, Samsung I know does it, iPhone definitely does it, I'm sure Google phone does it too. They actually have it on there if you don't have it turned on for it to flip to more of that amber tones at night, and it takes the blue light away. So if you don't have access to the blue light blocking glasses, I'm not positive on how successful that is. I don't know, but it's worth a shot, I guess. It isn't going to hurt, that's for sure. It's not really a life hack as much as it is kind of ingrained in us, but something Lauren and I try our best to do, even through our quarantine times. Was trying to stay on the sun's rhythm as much as possible. So try to go to bed when the sun is going down or down, and to the degree that sometimes we're ahead of the sun in the summer, like light still bleeding through, especially when we have the 4:40 mornings there. So go to bed with the sun, wake up with the sun, and try your best to stay in that rhythm as much as possible. What else?
Another thing that helps me sleep, like if I can't sleep, literally like 3 deep belly breaths. I'll do it laying down and like instant calm down. And I've noticed that helps me fall asleep a lot faster. I'm not forcing it. It's just like, if you don't take a big deep breath every now and then and see how good that feels, you're missing out. That's a Tony Robbins hack he talked about.
Yeah, I'll thank Justin for this. I don't even know that he realizes he sowed this seed in me many years ago. I like to be orderly. So again, and we kind of talked about that idea and how it permeates all parts of my life. And one of the best ways that I can be comfortable maintaining order without being totally anal is this app that I use called Evernote. So Justin introduced me to this app many, many years ago, and I'll have notes, just random. I'll have random thoughts. I'll go on a walk. If I can't access my Evernote, which you can file and create a bunch of folders based on work, based on life, based on travel, based on food, whatever. If I don't have access to that, I'll send myself a text. If I hear something in a podcast, ooh, that's worth remembering, I'll send myself a text. So I have this organic, living, long text thread with myself where I'll send myself notes, ideas, reminders, etc. That simplifies my life. It allows me, we're all kind of talking about sleeping a little more soundly. Some people like to make a physical note to themselves about to-dos for the next day. Mine just happens to live in a digital format so that I can access it. My brain doesn't function as well as I'd like it to, so my cell phone replaces my short-term memory, my long-term memory, and my searchability. I love having the search function in that note. It allows me to find things much, much more quickly than I wouldn't otherwise have. So Evernote, it's beautiful, it's free. It's just an app you download on your phone, and then send yourself messages. It'll help you. It helps me, I should say, stay abreast of stuff that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
It's a good one. And
I still don't have anything. I still have nothing. Like my mind my mind didn't go to technology. My mind went to people, and I don't know why, but like I was thinking a good hack to get to, like, I don't know, maybe you have a certain goal would be to find people. This might not even fit the criteria that you're looking for, but if I'm trying to get something accomplished and I don't know how to do it, I try to find people that are good at different things that I can kind of, not that I'm using people, but it's like maybe they are good at a certain field that I want to be good in. So I kind of attach to those people. And to me, that's a hack in a way. It's like, I can't know everything, but if I can find people that know the things I would like to know, that's immediately what came to my head. Not really so much technology. And so I guess for me, I try to think of the way I can get to where I need to go by working with people. That's literally the best I have there right there. I can't think of anything technologically. I'm not really big into technology. So that's mine. That's all I got.
That's good, Steve. Just surround yourself with people who are better than you and kind of help you build up everything that you can do as far as bettering yourself. Another one I'm seeing it in the screen right now, this Whoop band. It's pretty interesting. It kind of tracks HRV, any type of recovery, sleep patterns, workouts, and so forth. Let you know how much you're expending, let you know if you're beat up, you need to chill out. As far as accuracy goes, I have no clue, but it seems to be pretty good for me. If I have a low HRV, I usually tend to feel a little bit worse. So before I was like, take a mental note, how do I feel? Look at it, I'm like, okay, it's pretty spot on. So kind of helps you dial back the reins, or if it's like, hey, I feel great, let's crush it today, get a lot of stuff done.
And for that, what is HRV for those that might
Heart rate variability. It's the time in between your inputs and outputs of the heartbeat, the dub or whatever it is. I think the more you have erratic spacing, so if it's 1 here and 17 over here and 4 here and 22 over here or whatever, just for numbers, the more random they are, the better you are recovering. If it's constant, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you're pretty stressed out, you're in fight or flight, and you need to chill out a little bit. You need to take today easy, relax, eat some quality food, go to bed at night.
Don't you wish that was a thing when we trained?
Oh my God, it'd been so much
harder.
That's one of those train smarter, not harder type deals, right?
Yeah.
When your body's ready to push. When your body's not, and you're susceptible to injury or to not actually finding the improvement you're looking for, take it easy. Yeah. I think it's fascinating. And those, I guess the Whoop band got real popular within the past couple of years, right? But that kind of heart rate variability hit the scene. I don't know.
I used to have a chest strap back then.
Yeah, it used to be like based on the one you wear center mounted there. But
that being said, Whoop, if you're listening, we'll take a couple million for a sponsor.
get them on. or 5 new bands.
Hey,
we'll test out whatever you want. Cool. Galen, you alluded to this, and this might segue us into a question that I had or wanted to dig in to your all's brains a little bit on this. You said something about when you were younger. That was actually 900 pounds in there on that.
And like you listen to human.
This is another, no better segue, but you said that when you were younger and a lot dumber, you inevitably hurt your back. You used it very modestly, but to my understanding, you did some serious damage to your low back. So I was curious of what you guys sitting here right now, if you had a portal backwards into the ear of your younger self, what would you tell them? And it can be anything. It can be in a training. It can be in business. It can be in just, family, anything. What would you tell your younger self if you could hop back in time right now? Maybe let's say, high school, college years or somewhere in there.
I'll start there. College years, don't eat 4 double cheeseburgers after working out for McDonald's. Don't do that. All right, that would be my biggest thing. I got up to almost 300 pounds, so that was a bad life choice as far as the longevity.
You tell yourself, dude, this isn't going to work out. Do you have an end goal? Do you have an end goal here?
Bro, this is really cheap, but really bad. Joe Salatin is on Joe Rogan. He said that one fast food burger has about 600 cows in one patty.
Oh, just a grind.
So just mix it up. So if one of those cows are sick, it's way more likely to be passed on to you.
Interesting.
600
in one burger patty. It blew my mind when he said
I was like, what? I'm writing this down right now.
That's got to be.
By the way, you guys should watch that. I haven't even finished it. Not you guys, but those who are out listening. Joel Salatin on Joe Rogan.
Is that his newest one?
Yes.
Okay.
Bill, what'd you do real quick?
Speaking of that, you might have to go to Spotify to check out Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good stuff.
I think that's in business, right? With a big contract next to his name, away from YouTube and Apple and into Spotify.
Some people said 100 million is what they get. That was one of the headlines. I don't know if it's true or not.
I saw that headline too.
And Bill just deadlifted 440 for 8.
Jeez.
The 200 kilos, all you Morristown people.
Yeah, it's 200 keys, guys. I was talking to Galen about that beforehand. They paid I was watching another video. There's another guy that I watch on YouTube. His name is Patrick Bet David, and he is on Valuetainment. It's a good entrepreneurial channel. And he was talking about Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million, but from where their stock prices went up, guess what they made at the same time?
I don't know.
They gave him $100 million and made $5 billion.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so they gave away $100 to make $5,000.
That's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
Now they have to deliver on that stock price.
Yep. So
back to Taryn's question. You want to hit it or me or Taryn?
Well, mine's gonna be similar to Jay. Like, don't be a fat idiot, man. You gotta get it together. What's wrong with you? And probably be to work harder, have more confidence. That'd be like a couple of things I would tell myself. And I guess in the other areas would be that maybe some of the things you're going through are temporary. So stay mentally strong, if that makes sense. I don't know if I took this a little deeper than I should have, but that's some of the things I would say.
It was there to be dug into however you'd like to crack into it, G.
It's probably a fool's errand to try to tell a young kid full of testosterone and foolhardiness anything about wisdom, anything about amending the behavior, but I'm a fool, so let's just dig in. The first probably piece of advice I would tell myself is to attempt to disconnect your self-value and your self-description from a performance, an athletic endeavor, a number on a bar. those two things are so far apart. But for me, when I was young, they were one tightly wound nucleus. So I attached a lot of it was like I would ride on the tide of how well I would perform, be it baseball, be it weightlifting, be it CrossFit, be it bodybuilding, whatever it was. I was directly tethered to the success of the day, of the training, of whatever the goal was. So maybe too attached to superficial things. But then I would probably also have to remind myself, it's my favorite line from the book of Atlas Shrugged. And it's a conversation between two characters, and one character asks the other, what is the most depraved type of man? So, and then the answer is one with no purpose, like the shirt. So I would probably remind my younger self to purposeful behavior, working pragmatically towards something that matters is right, but let's readjust the angle and the aim for what you're shooting at and look a little bit longer term. So maybe not to be so superficial, and maybe not to take yourself so seriously with athletic endeavors, and to be curious. I think if use two words, be curious for anybody. If you can stay curious, you probably have a pretty fulfilling life.
I think that's where my mind went when I was thinking of the question too. Like if I were telling my younger self anything, it'd be, because I was the same as you, tied up to sports and outputs and directly correlating how I felt with how my performance was almost exactly the same. I would definitely tell myself though that like you're about a tenth as important as you think you are.
Yeah.
And you're not in the spotlight you think you are. And definitely try to weave in some more humility and be a little more humble, because I have plenty of stories or plenty of thoughts that come to mind of Taryn's high school self. And they frustrate me. They frustrate my now self. So I would say that, come to the realization that down the road, there's a lot more to life than this sports stuff and, how you are perceived in a big crowd of kids your age and, stuff like that. So I was kind of that jock, tried to be popular, tried to be cool, and maybe sometimes at the risk of screwing up some friendships or some, relationship with people that could have used a positive word. So that would probably be mine. So Steve, if I can track towards your deep direction, I guess that'd be mine. You guys want to spin towards the other direction?
I want to add a little bit.
Okay.
There'd be the diet thing, like you said, would be obviously, but then read more and just probably, I guess, serve other people more. And also then I'll look at it and say I probably wouldn't change anything, because I don't think we would be necessarily where we're at right now if all the bad stuff hadn't come along with all the good stuff. So yeah. Grateful for you all, grateful for the gym. So
that's a good way to look at it now. You guys want to move to any of your questions? Or I had written down also, if you want to entertain this in our little bit of time, would you recommend anything to your future self if you could 2, 5, 10 years, or do we want to avoid that for now? We can save that for next time if you'd like.
What do you want? That's a thick one too.
Yeah, it might be one we shelf for the next time, because I think we're running a little bit short on time, and it's up to you.
Oh wow, yeah, it's 11:52.
Yeah.
Any other rapid fires? We could shelf that one for the future.
Favorite book of all time and or philosopher? Go.
I thought we were getting shallow here, man. We got deep.
That's I already know my favorite book. You should have a favorite book. I got a favorite.
What's your favorite book?
I can't think of a favorite book.
Okay.
Steve, tell us.
Oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad, man. My favorite book of all time, no doubt. It totally changes your mindset if you read it. Into what I would consider an abundance mindset.
Yeah,
for sure. So shout out to Robert Kiyosaki if you're listening. I love you.
If you're listening,
that's all I got.
Likely he's listening.
I'm gonna say fiction book, probably Brave New World, and 1984, probably like those two combined, because it feels like that's what we're living in life right now. So I don't know if you'd actually call that fiction now, but it's crazy. Nonfiction, I don't know, man. There's so many good ones. I don't know if I can put Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl is an absolute eye-opening quick read, which realize how freaking easy we have it right now compared to other generations and other people and all that. So I think that's probably my favorite nonfiction. And then anything Jordan Peterson writes on paper, I'd probably read.
Or try to anyway.
Yeah, try to, yeah.
first one that jumped in my mind. It's been quite a while since I read it, but I remember Lauren and I waded through it together and made this little list. But How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That was a good one.
Yes, good call.
Best in the world is just letting you know. Taryn is the best in the world at how to win friends and influence people.
Oh, yeah.
He is so good.
No,
at it.
I've got far to go, that's for sure. But compared to that high school stuff I was referencing, I hope I've made some improvements. That'd be mine. I don't know. Philosopher, I have to dig in. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not as versed in that category as I probably should be.
Oh, this guy is. He's ready.
I don't know. Probably book. The Count of Monte Cristo, Alexander Dumas. Much better than the movie. And then Philosophers. It's hard to say. Marcus Aurelius, but he wasn't so much a philosopher as he was a philosopher king. So he wrote the Meditations to himself. I don't think he intended to publish those things, but Stoicism on top of the interesting fictional twists and turns of a vengeful, angry mind turning wise and hardening over time. Those are the kind of the summations of those guys for me. We do have a room full of folks watching us now.
Yeah, we do. On that note, as you can see us awkwardly glance to our right, and I think your all's left. It's about that time, so we will go ahead and wrap this one up. Episode number, what was it again? 5.
We'll say 5.5 because we split
5.5.
We split that one in 2 pieces. So, but yeah, guys, pretty good books. Keep working out. Glad to see you all again.
5.5 in the book. Signing off for Lightning in a Bottle number 5. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Recording. Could we sound all right, G?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Look at Steve dressed up. Look like Don Johnson gonna go slap some around. You don't even know who Don Johnson is, Steve. John. I said John Donson.
John Donson. That's awesome.
God, we're about to shit his name.
Just like make sure your right arm, Jay, is bleeding toward the side, and you'll look really big on one side. I don't know. That's how I feel like. When I start to move towards the corner, it swells.
I'm just gonna keep it right there. Perfect Spain shadow.
That's what I like.
I'm gonna get right in the middle and then like hunker over and look super frail.
Terrence, 12 today, guys.
Have a good weekend, eh?
Eh?
Yeah.
Who is
Is
that?
that Emily?
No, that's
She's a different Canuck in here with us today.
Lori, fellow Canadian.
Yeah.
Hey!
Automatically response.
How do you want to?
Go cut the damn music off,
I
Terrence.
got it.
Terrence, cut the damn music off.
Probably
Terrence in here. He's like, ice
We
clean.
don't have too much time, though. Yeah. Guys, what's shaking? What's good?
I need to file a complaint with HR.
Wait, huh? What?
This is a toxic work environment.
Oh, God.
Bill,
Talk to
do you
HR.
have an HR department I can speak with?
You're looking at him.
This workplace is hell.
Ours is a bald guy with a weird mustache.
Toxic work environment.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I guess we're
They're ready.
we're
That's
ripping
it.
and raring,
Turn this
baby.
thing on.
Why are you so far forward? You make me uncomfortable. God, you trying to be bigger or something?
No.
It's so weird. Put this damn bitch back on.
No.
Yeah.
I'm already at a disadvantage.
Man, Terrence 250.
Terrence's legs like blocking me off of her. He's like this. He's like, hey, let me get. We got room.
Hair like this, baby.
Man.
God, come on.
It changes week to week. I just want to keep the people up to date.
Jesus Christ. Flip that thing up.
God,
Do the intro like
awesome.
that. It looks like Malcolm Gladwell.
It does. It does.
Oh my gosh.
That is.
You look like Samuel L. Jackson in that movie where his hair's like this. What was that? Oh, Glass.
Glass. That's the movie you're referring to. Is Glass.